Imagine standing on a piece of rock so isolated, so deep in a freezing, violent ocean, that your closest neighbors aren't even on Earth. They are the astronauts orbiting above you on the International Space Station. This is Bouvet Island. It is officially the most remote piece of land on our planet. It's a 93% glacier-covered nightmare, battered by hurricane-force winds and completely uninhabitable. But in 1964, a British expedition helicoptered onto this frozen wasteland and found something completely impossible. Sitting in the middle of a frozen lagoon was an abandoned wooden lifeboat. The oars were neatly placed. There were survival supplies untouched. But there were no identifying markings, no wrecked ships in the surrounding waters, and absolutely no bodies. How did a tiny, open wooden boat navigate the deadliest ocean on Earth? Where did the crew go? And why did the military suddenly classify the surrounding waters 15 years later? To understand why this discovery baffled the smartest military and scientific minds of the 1960s, you have to understand the geography of Bouvet Island. It sits in a stretch of ocean known by sailors as the Roaring Forties and the Furious 50s. The waters here are a meat grinder. Rogue waves regularly reach 50 feet high. Surrounding Bouvet Island isn't a nice sandy beach. It is ringed almost entirely by sheer, vertical ice cliffs that plunge directly into the violent sea. You cannot dock a boat here. Over the last 2 centuries, practically every crew that tried to land on Bouvet Island was either killed, shipwrecked, or forced to turn back. An abandoned boat simply washing up intact on the shores of this island is a geographical impossibility. It would have been smashed to splinters against the cliffs. A place this brutal shouldn't just have a lifeboat casually resting on its ice. But to figure out how it got there, we have to look in the shadows of the Cold War. By the way, if you love exploring the darkest, most mysterious glitches on the world map, hit that subscribe button. You are watching Secret Atlas, and you won't want to miss our next deep dive. Now, let's go back to April 1964. Lieutenant Commander Alan Crawford was leading an expedition aboard the British naval ship, the HMS Protector. Because the waters were too violent to approach by sea, Crawford and his team had to take a helicopter to the island. They landed on a relatively flat, newly formed volcanic shelf. And right there, roughly 30 yards inland, floating in a small, semi-frozen lagoon, was the boat. It was a 20-foot wooden whaler boat. But the details Crawford noted in his official log only made the situation far more terrifying. First, the boat was in near-perfect condition. Second, it had copper buoyancy tanks, meaning it was meant for long-term survival. Third, a pair of oars were pulled out and crossed over the center of the boat, as if placed there deliberately. And finally, all identifying marks, names, and serial numbers had been intentionally scrubbed or removed off the side of the hull. Crawford searched the immediate area. They found a 45-gallon drum and some copper tanks, but absolutely zero trace of human life. No camp, no fire pits, no bones. Whoever grounded this boat here intentionally removed its identity, perfectly arranged the oars, and then vanished into a glacier where temperatures dropped to 50 below zero. The immediate assumption was a shipwreck, but the British Royal Navy checked the global registries. There had been no distress signals. No ships reported missing anywhere in the Southern Ocean near Bouvet Island for years. Decades later, internet sleuths and historians unburied a deeply hidden record. Several years before Crawford's discovery, a massive Soviet whaling fleet, known as the Slava, had been operating in the Antarctic. According to some unverified accounts, a smaller boat from the Slava 9 was deployed near Bouvet Island and had to be abandoned during a sudden violent storm. The sailors were supposedly rescued by helicopter, leaving the boat behind. Mystery solved, right? A Soviet boat abandoned during a storm. Except, this theory has massive holes. Why would a crew frantically escaping a deadly storm take the time to neatly cross the oars? Why would they meticulously scrape the identification numbers off the hull before fleeing? And most importantly, why did multiple intelligence agencies suddenly take a severe interest in this empty patch of ocean just a few years later? To understand the true dark nature of this region, we have to look at September 22, 1979. An American Vela satellite, specifically designed to detect nuclear explosions, passed over the South Atlantic Ocean. Suddenly, its sensors overloaded. It picked up a massive double flash of light. A double flash represents only one thing in military science: an atmospheric nuclear bomb detonation. The blast occurred exactly in the waters between Bouvet Island and the Prince Edward Islands. To this day, the Vela incident remains classified and completely officially unacknowledged. No nation has ever claimed responsibility for dropping a nuke into the ocean near Bouvet, though military historians strongly suspect it was an illegal joint black ops test between Israel and South Africa. Which brings us back to our boat without a name. Is it possible that the unmarked wooden boat, stripped of all its identification, wasn't left by innocent whalers? Could it have been an advanced scouting party? A covert military operation testing the waters of the most isolated place on Earth for an illegal apocalyptic weapon test? We may never know for certain. The glaciers of Bouvet Island have long since swallowed the wooden boat, burying whatever secrets it held under miles of ice. It remains a frozen monument at the bottom of the world, to a crew that simply ceased to exist. If you want to uncover the dark truth behind the village where people fall asleep and never wake up, click the video on your screen right now. I'm Jaskaran, and this is Secret Atlas.